The World Health Organization (WHO) nearest equivalent of pandemic is the public health emergency of international concern, defined as an extraordinary event which is determined to constitute a public health risk to other states through the international spread of disease and to potentially require a coordinated international response. There is a rigorous process underlying this categorization and a clearly defined trajectory of responses. The plague of Justinian or Justinian plague was the first recorded major outbreak of the first plague pandemic, the first old world pandemic of plague. The contagious disease caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. The disease affected the entire Mediterranean basin, Europe, and the Near East, severely affecting the Sasanian Empire and the Byzantine Empire, and especially Constantinople. The plague is named for the Byzantine Empire Justinian I, who, according to his court historian Procopius, contracted the disease and recovered in 542 at the height of epidemic, which killed about a fifth of population in the imperial capital. The contagion arrived in Roman Egypt in 541, spread around the Mediterranean Sea until 544, and persisted in northern Europe and the Arabian Peninsula until 549. This first episode of the first plague pandemic had profound economic, social, and political effects across Europe and the Near East. In 2013, researchers confirmed earlier speculation that the cause of the plague of Justinian was Yersinia pestis, the same bacterium responsible for the Black Death. Ancient and modern Yersinia pestis strain closely related to the ancestor of Justinian plague strain have been found in the Tian Shan, a system of mountain range on the border of Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and China, suggesting that Justinian plague originated in or near that. The 1918 flu pandemic, also known as the Great Influenza Epidemic or by the common misnomer of the Spanish flu, was an exceptionally deadly global influenza pandemic caused by the H1N1 influenza A virus. The earliest documented case was March 1918 in Kansas, United States, with further cases recorded in France, Germany, and the United Kingdom in April. 2 years later, nearly a third of the global population, or an estimated 500 million people, had been infected in 4 successive waves. Estimates of deaths range from 17 million to 15 million, and possibly as high as 100 million, making it one of the deadliest pandemics in history. The pandemic broke out near the end of World War I, first bad news to maintain morale, but newspapers freely reported the outbreak in neutral Spain. Limited historical epidemiological data being indeterminate, with competing hypotheses on the initial spread. Most influenza outbreaks scientists offer several explanations for the high mortality, including a 6-year climate anomaly affecting migration of disease vectors with increased likelihood of spread through bodies of water. The virus was particularly deadly because it triggered the cytokine storm, ravaging the stronger immune system of young adults. Although the viral infection was apparently no more aggressive than previous influenza strain, malnourishment, overcrowded medical camps and hospitals, and poor hygiene, exacerbated by the war, promoted bacterial superinfection, killing most of the victims after a typically prolonged death batch. The 1918 Spanish flu was the first and 3 flu pandemics caused by H1N1 influenza A virus. The most recent one was the 29 swine flu pandemic, and the 1977 Russian flu was also caused by H1N1 virus. Coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 is a contagious disease caused by the virus severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2. The first known case was identified in Wuhan, China in December 2019. The disease quickly spread worldwide, resulting in the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 transmits when infection particles are breathed in or come into contact with the eyes, nose, or mouth. The risk is highest when people are in close proximity, but small airborne particles containing the virus can remain suspended in the air and travel over longer distance, particularly indoors. Transmission can also occur when people touch their eyes, nose, or mouth after touching surface or object that have been contaminated by the virus. People remain contagious for up to 20 days and can spread virus even if they do not develop symptoms. Testing method for COVID-19 to detect the virus nucleic acid include real-time reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction, transcription-mediated amplification, and reverse transcription loop-mediated insotomal amplification from a nasopharyngeal swab. Severe COVID-19 vaccine has been improved and distributed in various countries, which have initiated mass vaccination campaign. Other preventive measures include physical or social distancing, quarantine, ventilation of indoor spaces, use of face masks, or covering in public, covering cough and sneeze, hand washing, and keeping unwashed hands away from the face. While work is underway to develop drugs that inhibit the virus, the primary treatment is symptomatic management involves the treatment of symptoms through supportive care, isolation, and experimental measures. Symptoms of COVID-19 are variable but often include fever, cough, headache, fatigue, breathing difficulties, loss of smell, and loss of taste. Symptoms may begin 1 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. At At least a third of people who are infected do not develop noticeable symptoms. Of those who develop symptoms noticeable enough to be classified as patient, most 81% develop mild to moderate symptoms, up to mild pneumonia, while 41% develop severe symptoms such as dyspnea, hypoxia, and or more than 50% lung involvement or imaging. And 5% develop critical symptoms such as respiratory failure, shock, or multi-organ dysfunction. Although people are at a higher risk of developing severe symptoms, some people continue to experience a range of effects or long COVID for months after recovery, and damage to organ has been observed. Multiple studies are underway to further